So hopefully, my name is Luke Evslin. I'm the chair of this committee. Nice to meet you guys here. I've never attended a resolutions committee meeting before. So those of you who might be experienced in this, feel free to chime in as we go if you have any advice or feedback. Hopefully you all got my email. My intention tonight is to set up 3 subcommittees to review some of the resolutions which have similar language, and maybe we can condense them and hopefully combine resolutions here. And if not, at least some of the more controversial ones have some, second set of eyes go through them for the next week or 2 before we vote on them. So my intention would be to set up 3 subcommittees and then vote on 8 other resolutions tonight. We have a hard stop of 6:10, but hopefully we can be done by 6 o'clock here. And with that said, the first item on our agenda is introductions. So again, I'm Luke, but maybe we'll go down the list here, and if you all want to introduce yourselves, and we'll make sure that we have quorum as we go. Anybody can chime in with an introduction.
Gregor, I'm Luke's vice chair.
I don't know if you can hear me, but this is Lisa Martin. I'm a member.
May Mizuno here, member.
Hi, Lynn Robinson Underco, member.
Lourdes Scheibert, member.
Nikki Watts, member.
Lisa Hallett Andrews, member.
Dale Vanderbrink, member.
Hi, Jeannie Ota, Women's Caucus. Hi, Mel.
Yeah, I'm Melody Aduha, Environmental Caucus co-chair. Hi, Jeannie.
Abby Simmons, member. Stonewall Caucus, member.
I'm Will. I'm your scribe and also a member.
Darylee Pruitt, member.
Mark Clemente, member.
Dale.
I think Dale went. That's 15.
Okay. I'm Michael Gloria. I'm a co-chair for the state convention, non-voting member.
And I'm Don Domingo. I'm just the vice chair and non-voting member.
And aloha, everybody. JC Michaelak. I'm one of the convention co-chairs, non-voting member. Thanks for making time tonight.
All right, great. Is that everybody?
I believe
Sounds
so.
like it. And just to confirm, Will, we do have quorum there, right?
That's correct, Chair. You have 15.
Okay, awesome. My proposal here is to set up these 3 subcommittees. Did you guys all get access to the that spreadsheet that I sent? Or is anybody who didn't see the spreadsheet? I know some of you guys are driving, so don't be looking at the spreadsheet right now. But my hope would be to set up 3 subcommittees, which I'm hoping we can get sort of volunteers on. And it'd be great if everybody could serve on one, but no worries if you can't. The first subcommittee, we got a lot of resolutions regarding PFAS and waste disposal. And my hope is that we can condense some of those. I think there is a lot of sort of duplicate language. They all look good to me, and the intention of all of them seems good. It's just that there's a lot of them with really similar subject matter. So there's 9. So if we could maybe get a list or a bunch of volunteers to go through those and see if we can combine any of those into and consolidate them. So if you don't mind, maybe just speak up if you're willing to volunteer on the PFAS subcommittee. We good. Lawrence,
I'd be happy to join Melody.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to join, please. Thank you. This is Lisa.
Okay, and sorry, just confirming, Will, you're writing these down, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah,
This
my
is,
name will.
this is
Yeah.
Dolores and I'll join.
I have Melody, Lord, and Lisa H currently,
And Abby Simmons.
and Abby. Thank you.
All right, the four of you guys, anybody else? Going once, going twice? Great, we've got a subcommittee. Our second,
one? More than one or just one? Or
if you want to serve on all of them, that's great.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah. But no, this is as much as you are willing to put into this. I think like everything with the state Democratic Party, if more than happy to take your time here if you're willing to put it in. So yeah, so the next subcommittee is the mostly Gaza resolutions plus urging the state of Hawaii to phase out U.S. Department of Defense leases and urging the U.S. government to permanently end RIMPAC. So there's 5 resolutions there. And, you know, my personal thought is that we, you know, the apartheid resolution could possibly be combined with one of the Gaza peace resolutions. But I think that would be up to the subcommittee to determine. I also personally would hope that we can get some more language in those resolutions regarding release of hostages and Hamas as a terrorist organization, etc. But this can be, you know, worked over through the subcommittee. So on that one, we got some willing volunteers here.
Can you put me in that committee, please?
Great. And
I would also like to be in that committee.
This is Lynn. I'll join that committee.
I put it
And I
in
see
chat
Dale
that,
as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure how good my mic is right now.
Sounds good. We can hear you.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
All right. I think we've got our second committee filled. And then the final committee is sort of the handful of energy bills. And honestly, I'm not sure if we'll be able to combine these or not. But since we had a handful of energy bills, I figured it was worth sort of a second review here on if there was a way to combine these, or at least just get a second look. So we have the carbon pricing and dividend program, eliminating biomass from the renewable energy portfolio standard, alternatives to combustible fuels, and a wildfire prevention strategy. Willing members?
I volunteer for joining in with the third group. This is Lisa.
Great. Thanks, Lisa. Looks like Mark Clemente raising your hand.
Yes, sir. I'm having connectivity issues.
Oh.
But yes, I'll volunteer for the third.
Okay, and we can hear you okay, but yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Mark. Anyone else for this third group? Okay, and again,
I'm happy to join the third group as well, so I'll be in group 2 and 3.
Great, thank you, Dale.
And did I have Melody in this one as well? Is that correct?
No, are you
No.
volunteering me?
No, I thought since you asked earlier about being on 2, I thought maybe I heard that. So I have Mark, Dale, and who else for this one? Sorry.
Lisa?
Lisa, which Lisa?
H.
Lisa Hallett.
Lisa H again, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to volunteer you for committee 1.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so Mark C, Dale, and Lisa H for this third committee.
Yeah, actually, you can put me in 3 as well, because there are environmental caucus resos in there.
Okay, great. And I will say of the 3 subcommittees, my guess is that their third subcommittee might not make a whole lot of changes. Those ones all can stand alone. They all look pretty clean on their own. But yeah, definitely worth seeing what you guys can do there, looking into it. And then for the subcommittees, we'll send out another email, I think, to each subcommittee, just connecting you guys. And then maybe if you can, you know, all of you on your own probably review that and then find a time 1 or 2 times via Zoom to meet up. That'll just be on your own to work through there. Sound okay? Great.
Chair, there was one more thing that I just noticed. I think there's a 9th reso that doesn't belong in any of those other groups that hasn't been, I guess, put on the agenda for tonight.
Which one is that?
It's the tax one.
Oh. Okay.
Progressive tax system, that one.
Okay, I don't know why that didn't get added. Maybe we just put that on the bottom of, I will add it to the bottom of ready to vote for number 10. And we'll just see when we get there how much dialogue there is and what the timing looks like. But I don't think I even read that one that closely yet.
It sounds good.
Okay, all that said, everybody's good with the structure of the subcommittees and everybody's good to start voting on some of these resos here? No objections? Okay.
Before we get into the voting into resos, could we address the matter with Hawaii County?
Oh, yes, yeah, please do.
Point of order. I'm sorry, Vice Chair, that is not before this body at this time. There's nothing for you to discuss until there's actually resolutions that have been brought before this body. So I thank you for bringing that to everybody, but we will be taking care of that offline.
Chair,
So this committee has nothing before it to discuss until those resolutions. Unfortunately, those are the standing rules for the committee rules. So while I appreciate the concern, we will address that once we actually have something for you to discuss. Mahalo.
Chair, may I proceed?
I have a question.
Yeah, Melody.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at the working Google documents, the shared folder. You've got one named PFAS, and I think that's committee 1, and there's only 1 resolution in there.
Sorry, Melody, if you refresh it, they should be in there now. I had it in the wrong folder.
Oh, okay, cool. I just did it and it works. Thank you.
Chair, may I proceed?
Yeah, Gregor, if you can, Michael, I know that this is not on the agenda, but we have been getting emails regarding Hawaii County's lack of resolutions. So it'd be nice if we could at least just have an update from Gregor on that. We're not going to be, voting on any of these non-resolutions or taking any action, but I think an informational update would be appreciated. So Gregor, yeah, please proceed.
So I already talked to the Hawaii, the state chair, Adrian Tam, and the solution that we came up with is that right now Hawaii County has to ratify the resolutions on April 27th. And what we're going to try to do is that once they have their resolutions ratified, we're going to try to have a meeting before May 6th to have those resolutions be heard here. And the recommendation is to suspend our rules to allow Hawaii County to have the resolutions be heard here. And then we can pass it out on the recommendation of the committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do think to determine whether we can do that and suspend the rules, we will have offline conversations here on how to proceed. But I appreciate the update, Gregor. All right, anything else before we move into voting on these resolutions? Where is the shared folder? Can someone put a link to the shared folder into the chat?
1 second.
Thanks, Will.
Oh, no, that's Q&A. Where is the chat?
Okay. Great.
And let me know when you want me to share screen.
So with these, the intention will be to vote on them one at a time. If somebody does have a proposed amendment, you can make a motion to introduce your amendment, and then we'll vote on the amendment. before we vote on the whole resolution. I do, if there's a lot of dialogue or debate on any of these or any of the potential amendments, I would rather just sort of defer it to the next meeting rather than get dragged down here. So if there also happens to be, say, more than one amendment, then we should probably defer also. So that said, yeah, Will, if you want to open up your screen to the first reso on the agenda, which is enforcing increasing penalties against owners of dangerous dogs.
Okay, can you folks see that? Do you want it to be bigger?
Looks good to me.
That's okie dokie.
Can we address a typo in a reso? I believe we would have to offer an amendment to address typos. Am I right, Will or Michael or Gregor?
I think Michael can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for something small like a typo or missing a diacritical, we can take care of it without needing an amendment.
Yeah, we can also do a friendly amendment. We can just do a motion to amend any typos or any typos for all resos.
Technical amendments for consistency, clarity, and style for all of them. Yeah, Gregor, you want to make that motion?
Non-substantial.
So move. Can I get a second?
This is Lynn, I second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, so we can do some small changes here. All the other votes will be roll call, but that seemed okay. So Abby, what's your typo?
Apologies. So this was it's in a different resolution, not on this one.
Okay.
So I'll wait till that resolution comes up.
And I'm sorry, per the rules, if you guys can raise your hand, and then we should have a 3-minute time limit for debate here on the resos, and everybody can speak twice, and that's in the rules. I don't think my guess is we're not going to get into too heated debate up here, but okay. So any discussion on the dangerous dog reso? Dale.
Yeah, there is one section might be up for discussion, but in reference to resolved, the Democratic Party of Hawaii urges the Hawaii State Legislature to amend Chapter 142, specifically the section that begins including providing that owners be convicted under the law, be found guilty in Class C felony until the end of it. I'm not sure if specifically there should be specifics in the resolution to saying it should be a Class C and Class B felony, because the first section of that part already indicates it should be having increased fines, penalties, and other regulations.
Okay. If you
And I'll put that specific part in chat just to make sure everyone is clear.
Do you want to make a motion to amend that section then to delete, including providing that owners convicted under the law be found guilty of a Class C felony for a dog attack, all the way to the end of that semicolon?
Yes, I make the amendment to remove that part of the resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion on the amendment.
Can I begin the discussion?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Dale, and then we'll get Dale and then Melody after.
Okay, so I believe that that part should be stricken as previously indicated, because the first part of that section already indicates that there should be increased fines, penalties, and other regulations, and that delegate members may not agree that it should be a Class C and B felony, but it should have increased fines, penalties, and other regulations that are either under or over that specific class of crime. So because it already indicates increased fines, penalties, and regulations, we shouldn't provide specifics in that second part.
Okay.
And that's all for me.
Thanks, Dale. We'll go Melody and then Lisa.
Okay, thank you. I stand in opposition of this motion. And the reason why I stand in opposition is because I believe it is important that we define the level of criminal penalties in this case. Currently, to my understanding, it is a misdemeanor, which would lead to 1 year, up to 1 year, an open 1 year term of jail. And if we do increase it to a Class C, then that would be an open 5 if there's serious bodily injury, or Class B, which is an open 10, if the dog bite or several dog maulings results in death. And so then it would be along the same lines as vehicular homicide, when you've got an accident that causes the death of a person. So I believe it is pretty, it needs to be defined. If this is going to go through and become added to the statute, then of course it would be defined in that case as well. So in that regard, I do object to any amendments to this section. I believe that the legislation that's going through, and I apologize, I haven't followed it up until this point, but my feeling has always been an increased penalties, because when you're dealing with the situation that prompted this whole thing, it's quite egregious and devastating, and dog owners, especially those that raise hunting dogs, need to realize the magnitude of their harm, and therefore an open 10 is justified when there's a death. Thank you.
Thanks, Melody. Lisa?
Okay, I too am not in favor of this motion to amend. My understanding is that this resolution is really about asking the counties to shore up the language of the laws to sync up with the state laws, because they're sorely differing. They haven't, the county. So the specific, being specific is necessary. This is, we're trying to just nail it, I think, right? I yield. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Lisa. Further, Gregor.
Just a clarification, Dale, your amendment was to, could you say it one more time?
My amendment was to remove the highlighted sections that I also indicated there, and I believe I included up into and be it at the end of that highlighted section.
Got it. So just so everybody is aware, I'm actually the introducer of the bill, HB 2058. And this reso is not my reso. This is Shannon Matson's reso. And she is very passionate about this issue. So she introduced this reso, and I didn't ask her to introduce this reso. Regardless of what we amend here, the intent of the reso is here. And what we will be pushing out is what's currently in this reso. So whatever we take out or whatever we amend is not going to change what's happening and moving forward. Like for example, chapter 142, it actually got moved to chapter 711, and it's a better place for this law. And just so everyone's also aware, the intent of the bill is to conform with the state felony laws, because right now the counties are not able to raise the felony. So it has to be done on the state side. There's also things that designate the dangerous dog provision, as well as appeals. But regardless, I just want to point out that we can pass this out as is and it still be okay. We can take that section out and still be okay.
Okay, Lisa, Lisa and Melody, you want to speak again? We'll go with Lisa first and then.
I just wanted to get clarification. So, thank you, Chair. So it sounds like, Gregor, that you know that how this resolution could be amended to be effective, but you weren't working with Shannon to create this in the first place. I'm not, is there any way that we can get you two together so that it could be effective? I mean.
Chair, may I reply?
Yeah, please go ahead, Gregor.
I think the reso is already effective, and Shannon did a great job crafting the reso. In respect of her reso, I would leave it as is.
Okay, so Gregor's recommendation is to leave it. I think even though it sounds like the chapter is different than the actual bill, it could go in either section probably. It won't really change the trajectory of the bill, as the intention is the same regardless. Melody, follow up?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Friendly amendment. I would like the consistency to then amend chapter 142 to 711 so that it would be consistent with the bill.
Okay, so let's, I know I said if we have two amendments, we would defer to next week. I think this is probably a small amendment, but let's go ahead and vote on this first amendment regarding deleting that language. Is there any further discussion on the amendment to delete the specific felony language?
Even though I second the the amendment, I'm gonna vote no because Shannon is very passionate about that wording, and I would advise everybody to vote no as well.
Okay, thank you, Gregor. I will be a no also, and we'll go down the line here when I can see on the top. Lisa, roll call vote.
Sorry, which Lisa?
No.
Oh, sorry, Lisa Hallett.
Sorry, no.
Melody.
No.
Will.
I'm a no.
Michael Zola.
No.
Sorry, one second. Dale.
Yes.
Lords.
No.
Jeannie.
No.
Nikki.
No.
Lisa Martin.
I'm sorry, was that Lisa Martin?
Yeah, Lisa Martin.
No.
Lynn.
No.
Abby.
No.
And I believe there. Daryl Lee, are you a non-voting member?
I'm a voting member.
Oh, I'm sorry. Daryl Lee
Yes.
and May.
No.
Oh, and sorry, there's more here. Sorry, Mark.
No.
All right, is that all the voting members?
All of the ones present,
All
yes.
right, great. So amendment fails. Thank you, Dale, for proposing the amendment. I think it was thoughtful to try and make it more concise, but it sounds like the specificity here is helpful for the intention of the resolution. So we will entertain one more amendment on here, which I think is almost a technical amendment here, which sorry, who was it that proposed the amendment to change the chapter?
That's Melody.
Oh, Melody. I'm sorry. There you are. Okay, so the amendment is to change it to chapter, I believe, 711.
Correct.
Okay, we got a second on that.
I'll second. Will Crone.
Okay, because I think this is really just kind of a technical amendment. If it's okay with you guys, we'll just do a voice vote here. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, amendment passes. Lisa. Your hand up.
Sorry, I didn't, apologize.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So are there any further proposed amendments or further discussion before we vote on the resolution? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and do a roll call for the main motion, which is passing the resolution as amended. And I'm going to go down the list on the spreadsheet here. Michael Zola.
Aye.
Abby Simmons.
Yes.
Lynn.
Whoops, yes.
Lords.
Yes.
Mark Clemente.
Aye.
Melody. Melody.
Unclear what we're voting on, or
Oh, I'm sorry. We're voting on the main motion, which is approval of the resolution as amended. And the amendment was just to change the chapter to chapter 711. Melody. Sorry, are you there, Melody? All right, we're going to come back to Melody. Lisa Hallett.
yes.
Will.
Yes.
I believe you might have skipped me, Luke.
I'm so sorry, Dale.
No worries, yes.
Yeah. Nikki.
Yes.
Jeannie.
Yes.
May.
Yes.
Daryl Lee.
Yes.
Lisa Martin.
Yes.
I will vote aye. And Gregor.
Aye.
All right. Resolution passes. Good job. We made it through one. All right. Next one. Dale, your hands up.
Sorry, just for C1, I believe it indicates my name is Dave.
Oh.
C1.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Moving
you.
on, the next item is consumer protection for condo owners. Can we get a motion to approve the resolution?
I motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or proposed amendments?
All right, who is the second?
Gregor.
Thank you.
Any proposed amendments here? Well, all right, so you guys can read through it.
Just, I don't know if this counts as a tech amendment. I think it probably does, but I think that last resolved should be ordered.
Yeah, I think you can go ahead and make that change as the others are formatted that way. Any discussion or amendments before we take the vote here? Seeing none, roll call vote on the main motion, which is approval of the resolution. Michael?
Chair, you can ask if there's you can ask if there's no objection and then not have to do a roll call vote.
Oh, great. Okay. Any objections to the resolution? Okay, unanimous consent, the resolution passes. Thank you, Michael. Next, urging the establishment of free school meals for all public school students. All right, one second. So can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
I motion to approve this resolution.
You don't need a motion. It's already been moved and seconded to be before you.
Okay,
Just take it up.
all right. Any discussion or proposed amendments for this urging the establishment of free school meals? Seeing none. Any objections to approval of the resolution? Seeing none, resolution passes. Good job. Now we're flying through. Next item on the agenda is urging the establishment of ranked choice voting for all Hawaii elections.
I have concerns for this one.
Okay, Nikki, go ahead.
So, from what I've experienced in other states, the being able to actually take the election in ranked voting is a highly technical process to get it achieved. And I have a pretty limited understanding of the Hawaii Democratic Party, but if I'm honest, it's been a little chaotic in the last year that I've been involved, and I would be concerned that at this time period that the party may not be that sophisticated at this point. And some of you will probably school me and be like, hey, it's totally different with the national election. And I welcome that, but I would just be concerned on the technicalities of it.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Further discussion, Will?
Yeah, just speaking in support. I know that there is some technical components to it, but I think a lot of it can be handled by the Office of Elections. We're not talking about the party running ranked choice voting, although we did for the 2020 PPP. We did ranked choice voting for that, and it was fine. This is something that is used in other jurisdictions like Maine, and it's been pretty successful there. I'm not sure what the technical issues are, but I know that they've been doing it for a while, and I know that people like it. Most of their candidates use. Oh, I'm sorry. I am confusing this with clean elections. Sorry, I'm mixing up my two resolutions here. I still support this one. I do still. The party did use ranked choice voting in the 2020 primary. It was still successful. The main part is clean elections. Sorry about that. Disregard that part. But I still speaking in support of this resolution.
All right, thanks, Will. Lynn?
Just mirroring what Will said, that the party would not be facilitating the election, just the way that we've done other statewide elections. It would be the Office of Election and then any expert entity that needed to be contracted in. So I'm in support.
Thanks, Lynn. Further discussion? I'll just say from my own, I'm a big supporter of ranked choice voting, but I do hear what Nikki is saying. I think the New York City mayor's race is a good example of this, in that a lot of people, didn't understand it. It was unclear on who the, winner was, I think, for days after. And at a time when there is, growing lack of trust in our election system, I could see her point to, if people don't understand it, people are maybe not going to trust the outcome here. That said, I do think the benefits outweigh the cons, in that I do think it is a really good system, and we would, if it does happen, hopefully need a prolonged public education campaign to communicate how it works. So that said, I will be in support. Any further discussion here, Will? And
Sorry, I'm clarifying myself once again. Maine actually does have a ranked choice voting system. They have ranked choice voting and clean elections. So sorry, guys, it's been quite a day.
Tell me about it. Good job, Maine. Dale?
Yeah, just to clarify this resolution, it establishes both the primary and the general election should have separate ranked choice voting and not necessarily one grouped ranked choice voting system. I believe that's, where was it? says whereas Hawaii current primary and general election voting method only allows one choice. I'm not putting forward any resolution. I'm just wanting to clarify that this is saying that both the party primary and the general election should have separate ranked choice voting systems.
Okay, thanks, Dale. So noted. Further discussion or proposed amendments?
I have a proposed amendment.
Yes, Nikki.
I propose that we take out the primary and it just be the one that the state elections would be running.
Well, the primary, everything other than the presidential preference poll is run by the State Office of Elections and their.
Didn't we just do and thank you guys for educating me. I am pretty new to this. And so that's why I'm like, oh, please school me. Didn't we just do the primary though in our state conventions?
So yeah, that is the one that's up to the party on how to run that, which is the presidential preference poll, which happened at the at least some of our county conventions here. But the state-run primary, which is for all local and state office, is run by the State Office of Elections. Further on that, Will or anybody else?
Yeah, if well, I guess the proposed amendment there wasn't seconded, but if it'll help, maybe I can propose an amendment to add state primary, the word state in front of primary there.
Okay.
State run. I don't know which one makes more sense.
Yeah, I think that would be prudent. Nikki, does that get at the intention of your language there?
Yeah, I think so. I think the election, as long as the elections office is running it, I think that just makes it more solid and not up to the whim of how we're doing as a party at the moment.
Okay, further discussion then on the, sorry, do we have a second? Then?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll call that Nikki's amendment.
I was raising my hand to say.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so any further discussion on the amendment, which is to clarify that it's state-run elections and does not force the parties to change their own preference polls. All right, without any further discussion, we'll just do a voice vote. All those in support, signify by saying aye.
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 We are a very not harmonious aye there, but good job. Those opposed, signify by saying nay. All right, motion passes. All right.
Look, everyone has to find their mute button to say it. That's why.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, the next one will do better. We'll give it a count out so everybody can do mute at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, a 1 and a 2. And...
Okay, back to the main motion, which is on approval of this resolution. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll just go with any objections. Nikki, I know you expressed concerns, but is that a no vote, or are they clarified with the amendment?
No, it was just a concern. I think the amendment really covers my concern. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Any other objections or no votes? Lisa Hallett, sorry, your hand is up.
No.
Okay. Oh.
Sorry,
is that a no on the resolution?
It's funny
no?
because I'm sorry, I have no objection. But I was looking at the words under the hand are saying the opposite of what, so it says that I can raise my hand when actually it's the opposite. So kind of funny.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Lisa. Anybody else objections or no votes? Mark Clemente.
Yep. Thank you. I just have concerns that it might delay the actual, what do you call it? Defining a clear winner immediately that day of the election might not be always possible. And so that's my main concern there.
thanks. Are you, you want to register a no vote for that or just?
Is there a reservations option?
No, but you can note your concerns, which will be recorded in the minutes.
Perfect. I'll just note my concerns and vote yes.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, I share your concerns, Mark, and I think that this has been a primary issue with rank choice in other places, and that it can take sort of days to figure out. But I think it's still worth supporting regardless. Okay, further either stated objections or actual no votes. All right, seeing none, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is support for marriage equality. Any discussion or proposed amendments? Seeing none, any no votes? All right, seeing none, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is affirming transgender rights and protecting gender affirming care. Any discussion or proposed amendments here? All right, we'll start with Michael.
Oh, sorry, go with Abby, sorry.
Oh, Abby.
Well, hello, Chair. I was just suggesting to make a typo change. I'm going to put it in the chat, but one of the clauses has the word persecution, and I think what was intended was prosecution. The resolved clause that I just put in the chat, it is line 3, and it should read absent current existing laws protecting gender affirming care from prosecution of out-of-state agencies. Thank you.
All right, anybody object to that, what we're calling a technical amendment? And I think we can do without a vote. Okay, we are good with making that change. Any other discussion or proposed amendments? Oh, here, Abby. This.
Chair?
Yeah.
There's a typo in the title. It should be by instead of and, because we can't have two subject matters in a resolution. It should be. So.
Okay, we'll call that a technical amendment too. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, so sorry, Abby, I just saw the language you put in the text in the chat. You're just clarifying the section, right? So we're just still changing persecution to prosecution. Okay.
Right.
Any further proposed amendments or dialogue? Seeing none. Any no votes here on the resolution? Great. Motion passes unanimously again. Next item, urging the expansion of SNAP benefits to households earning at or below 300% of the federal poverty level. Discussion or proposed amendments? All right.
I do have a question. Does it, and I haven't read the whole thing, but does it say how much it would cost to do that?
I don't believe so. Does anybody, the author of the resolution by chance here, or does anybody know?
Is it something we should be concerned about at this point?
Michael, you.
Chair, may I? You don't need to be worried about cost at something like this. It's just we're looking at principles here. That would be implementation. These are resolutions, are policy statements by this party, and if this is the policy you would like to make, then and we're only looking at the resolve clause. So yeah, so if you're concerned about the cost, then so be it. But it's not something that we can answer here. Okay.
Thanks, Michael. Will?
Yeah, Chair, just speaking in support, this is an issue that the nonprofit I work for has been looking at for a while. And the research that we've done shows that SNAP is a really important program, but that families do end up having to make this decision between benefits versus pay. And so I think this is something that would really help a lot of working families. So I'm in strong support.
Great, thanks, Will. Any further discussion or potential proposed amendments? And Nikki, did Michael answer your question regarding lack of cost in the resolution?
Yeah, that's not at that fitness phase yet, so that was good to know.
All right, seeing no further discussion, is there anyone opposed to the resolution? Great, motion passes. We are flying through. You guys are doing amazing. Okay, the next one, fully public financing of elections. Any discussion?
Yes, Luke. Just to clarify, are we voting on only this first page, or are we voting on all 4 pages or 5?
Oh,
good question. Just the first page. I think the others were other resolutions that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because for the other ones, I don't believe I saw separate resolutions for them. I believe this is the only place where all 5 are indicated.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Sorry, I was the one who uploaded this, so I'm not sure how that happened. But it's supposed to just be this first page.
Do we need to make any sort of motion to separate all the pages into separate resolutions?
The other ones weren't duly submitted. They're like scratch paper down at the bottom. So no.
Okay, so they can just be deleted then without issue.
That's right.
Okay.
Good catch. So we are voting just on the first page on fully public financing of campaigns. Gregor.
Thanks, Chair. I'm supportive of public financing. I actually got elected in the county council through the program. My biggest concern, it's different when I ran in the county council because it's nonpartisan. In the state, what I want to be mindful is that we're a Democratic Party, and if we are to enact a public financing that's fully funded, we are funding the Republicans as well. So I am very concerned to provide, let's say the governor's race, where you're giving millions of dollars to the Republican opponent for the governor race. And I'm also concerned when we're talking about state races where we have 6 Republicans in the House and only 2 in the Senate, where before there was all blue in the Senate. And now we're going to give them money to be able to run effectively against Democrats. That's my biggest concern as a Democratic Party, but I will upvote this. I was wondering if anybody have any suggestions of amendments to address my concern.
Thanks, Gregor. I share similar concerns, which I'll get to in a second, but I want to get through all these raised hands. We'll starting with Will, then Dale, then Lisa Martin.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I hear Gregor's concerns. From my perspective, I think this policy is really important though, because it takes big money out of politics for both Democrats and Republicans. And I don't think as the Democratic Party, we should be afraid of the Republican Party. I think we can take them. And I think that it would be better for Hawaii if all candidates had their campaign contributions coming from the community rather than from large wealthy donors. So I would rather face Republicans that have small dollar donations as well from the community, and have a good, honest, open campaign against them, where I think that democratic values will prevail. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Dale?
Yeah, I do share concerns about this only because it doesn't specify the percentage that a candidate would have to be at in order to receive public funding. So it sounds like this measure could also lead to public funding for any and all small candidates that are in the race that are not Democrat and Republican, which means you could have dozens of people receiving the same level of funding, especially when it comes to, say, the governor's race or any other elected office. So I do believe that the $10 million annually might not be a reasonable level to even say in this, just because could be so many candidates that could apply.
Thanks, Dale. Lisa, Martin?
Hi, I do have concerns. I know that a lot of people have been very excited about this legislation over the last couple of years, and I have not tried to block it in any way. But I think of this as the Hope Chapel Fund. The barrier to entry is low enough that every Hope Chapel across the state could, in one church meeting, get a candidate out there who would likely be extremely conservative. That group, I don't mean that Hope Chapel in particular, but generally Republicans have been very poor fundraisers, and this would enable them to access a lot of taxpayer money that they don't have to fundraise, giving them much larger budgets. I personally would like to see a lot less money being spent on campaigns rather than bringing in a whole new source of money. But that's just my view as someone who has run and someone who hasn't fundraised much and somebody who hasn't spent a lot of money. I would hate to have super well-funded candidates, Republicans, that would force me to to go after money, which is something that I haven't had to do before. I've been able to run very cheaply, taking no donations from any corporations or anything. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Dale, we're going to come back to you for your second time. We'll go Mark, then Michael, then Abby, then Lisa Hallett, then back to, oh, Dale, your hand's not up anymore. Okay, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. I share the same concerns that Gregor and Lisa M. and Dale have brought up. Another concern I have is the potential for abuse for folks who have no real intention of being in elected office, but rather using public financing as a means to pay their friends who just develop LLCs for whatever reason. And also, yeah, I'm just not convinced that 10 million would be the annual cost, especially with the ability for folks to now access funding to run for higher office. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Michael?
Michael Zola, I think there's more than one Michael. My question is, I don't see anywhere that PAC or private donor contributions would be prohibited. So it's providing public funds, but it's not, unless I'm missing something, it's not exclusive to just the public funds provided.
Can I answer his question?
Yeah, please.
It looks like where it says, whereas a candidate participating in fully public finance campaign program will not receive any additional private donations. It sounds
okay.
like this is saying you can either accept public funding or you can accept private. You can accept both.
Can we change the word will not to shall not?
I think that could be considered a tech amendment. Does anybody have any objections to changing that will to a shall? All right, we can make that change. Thanks, Michael. Any further comments, Michael?
No, nothing else. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, Abby.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure if the author of this reso is here today. I'm not sure if it's Will. But I was hoping maybe just to get a little bit more information. I know that this type of bill has been floated around, I think, several years. And have we had any I guess understanding or like any learnings that we've had from Connecticut or Maine, knowing that these are very different places than Hawaii, but like how has public financing impacted elections there is my question. Thank you.
So since that's a question, we'll go to Will, and then Lisa will come back. Lisa Hallett will come back to you.
So I actually didn't write this resolution. I took care of the uploading for a party member who wrote it. But I do know that Connecticut has safeguards for a lot of the things that have been brought up. I also know that the Campaign Spending Commission in Hawaii has said that 10 million is actually a pretty good estimate. So that's where that number came from, is actually from the Campaign Spending Commission for how much it would probably cost in Hawaii to do this. But I don't really have any more details beyond that. I'm sorry, Abby.
Time check 6:02 and hard stop 6:15.
Yep. Thanks, Gregor. Lisa Hallett.
Hi, okay, I wanted to say, you know, this bill, this resolution, this is all about leveling the playing field. And so, yes, I like that we would, shall not be added, you know, be taking money from both, you know, the Clean Elections Program and donors. So, and, you know, at first, in order to get onto these programs, I believe you get a lot of signatures with small donors, people that will support you. And you get, you know, 100 or more. I don't remember how many hundreds that was required. Gregor, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's $5 per individual, and you needed 200 qualifying registered voters.
Right. And I'm sure you easily did that with your supporters. Yes. So, you know, we live in a society where there's multiple parties, and I believe we're going to remain a Democrat state. And like I believe it was said before, I think we can take them, you know, but the idea is that it's a level playing field. And a lot of points that I wanted to make have been made, but thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Will, did you want to follow up from that?
Yeah, just two more points that I wanted to make. One is that, as you'll see, we passed a couple resolutions about this already. It's in the platform. It's in our platform already. And it was a top priority for the legislative committee of the party this year. So just wanted to remind folks of that, but that's it. Thanks.
Thanks. Michael Zola, did you have a follow-up comment? Your hand is up.
Oh, I thought I took it down. Sorry. I don't know how to take it down.
Melody?
Yeah, do we know what it would be for the Senate? Because it appears that 50,000 in public funds would be available for the House. But what about the Senate, which is of course a bigger base? So I don't know if anybody knows that. So we got 50,000 would be available if you have 200 people that support you and sign and only donate $5. But what about for the Senate and the other races? I mean, what comes to mind is Kai Kahele's race. That did not pan out for him because of some of the rules. Not that that should stop this reso, but I'm just saying that was one of the risks, is that the rules aren't followed to the teeth. Then you would, yeah. Oh, that's it. Thanks.
I was just waiting.
Jeannie?
Hi, I just want a clarification. If we've already passed the reso then we shouldn't be passing this unless it's an amendment. So can I clarify, did someone mention that we already have a reso? The party has already passed a resolution?
The last whereas.
It's in our platform is what was said.
So if it's in the platform, presumably we can have a matching resolution.
Okay.
Michael or Will, if you want to correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it is in the platform, but this Gov 2018-13 and also 22-32, those are resolutions. I think the way it's normally done is the title would be phrased a little differently. The title would be like amending 22-32 and 28-13 to say X, Y, and Z. So we might need to change the title a little bit. But I think it's still in order as long as you address the fact that there are previous ones and you're sort of updating it. Is that right, Michael?
Sorry, I didn't catch this earlier. Chair, I asked that you table this to the next meeting. It doesn't have a order clause either, and we need to pull the other two resolutions and we need to look at those. So there's a lot of work to be done on this one if we're going to get it. So I asked that if you would just please table it.
Okay. So noted. We will defer this to the next meeting as Michael works through whether we can hear it again. Jeannie and then Gregor.
Sorry, I'm done. And Michael answered the question. Thank you.
Chair, point of information, what happens if we don't clean up a reso by the end of our May 6th?
Michael, can I defer to you on that question? Presumably it doesn't pass, but
if a resolution is not taken up by this body, it dies.
Oh, follow-up question.
Go ahead.
If we vote down a reso, does it die or does it move as a negative recommendation to the party?
It moves everything. You can't kill anything in the committee. It gets part of you're not recommended. You have you have a pile of those that you recommend and those that you do not, and that will be part of your report to the body. And if somebody wants to pull it to the floor, they can try, but it's a harder pull from a not recommended than a recommended.
So if I'm, just so I understand, there's a positive recommendation, there's a negative recommendation, and then there's not have been worked on incomplete.
No, they don't see those at all. Those do not go. Those don't even go to the floor. Those, this body does not take action on a resolution, it dies. It does not leave this committee. So that's one way of killing something. If you don't want it brought to the floor, this body decides not to take no action, neither for nor against something. It just goes to the wayside. I don't recommend that. I just recommend this body taking a stand on what the resolutions that are brought before you in the timely fashion. So yeah. And that's why this one desperately needs some work on it. And so that this should be put to the side and let to give it to one of the subcommittees to work on, or if somebody wants to take that heavy lift up, because you have to look at the other two resolutions and it may, and making sure that yeah.
Chair, I can, if the committee if the committee wants, I can workshop this with the author and fix it up.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then sorry, so if Will does modify it, Michael, will you still be approving that it's different enough from previous resolutions that we can then have it on our agenda for next time? That's up to you, or that's up to us?
I will give my recommendation. It'll be up to this committee.
Okay.
Well, not just I got to talk to my co-chairs as well, and the chair of the.
Sounds good. Abby.
Thanks, Chair. Well, I'd be happy to help since I'm the co-chair of the legislative committee and we did support clean elections. So
cool.
Okay, so we're gonna do a committee number 4 here, which is just Will and Abby to work on this. And I should just state my own concerns here too. I want to echo what Gregor and Lisa Martin and Mark said regarding hesitancy around full public financing. And one, I'm also somebody who has run very low dollar campaigns. Really, the last 2 elections were essentially like $1,500 each. And if I knew that my Republican opponent was spending $50,000 on, banners and mailers, et cetera, that would essentially, would incentivize me to go after public financing also and spend similar amounts of money. And it's almost like an arms race to just more and more spending when I don't really think it's necessary for a lot of races. And those races that are spending in the $200,000 range, right, they're just not going to go down this road, and they're still going to continue.
Chair, it's 6:10.
Okay, yeah. So that said, those are my own concerns, and I just want to echo what Gregor said about this being a giveaway to Republicans. I think we have just lots and lots of non-serious Republican candidates often running for office, and this would hand them lots of public money that could be used in other ways. That said, I'm not going to be a barrier to this passing. I just want to note my own concerns here. So I don't believe we need a vote to defer this to the next meeting. Is there any? So, and then around the committee structure, again, you folks are going to discuss on your own times to meet. You're going to come up with a list of proposed amendments that you'll then take to this body, which we will be voting on as a body. Gregor and then Abby.
Chair, could you please state the resos that are being pulled out that we voted on, just so the committee is clear exactly that's not moving forward?
So the ones that we voted on today, or?
Michael identified that there are a couple of resos that need to be worked on, even though we approved it. So which?
I think it's just the public financing, right, Michael? Was there anything else?
No, I will look at I will actually, if I have time, I will ask Will to look at the other resolutions, to go through them all to see, make sure we're all in compliance. And if there's anything, he can reach out to me and I will take care, and we will work with you and the chair and the vice chair to see how we can deal with those offline to make sure that they're presentable to the committee with it. They can see the original and then the suggested amendments. And while we're on this topic, if I may, Chair.
Yeah, please, Michael.
For the subcommittees, if you need Zoom, access to Zoom so you can meet, please contact me and I will do my best to get you access to the party Zooms. Please note that you do not have the power to automatically change anything. Like I just said, the committee needs to know exactly what the original will look like and what your suggested amendments are. So I suggest that you do it in track changes so the committee can see your work. There is no voting in the subcommittees because this is not an actual factual thing. Nothing happens unless it happens in this committee. If you have any questions, please reach out to your chair or vice chair. If they are busy, reach out to the convention committee at 2024 conv@hawaiidemocrats.org, and one of the co-chairs will get back to you as soon as we can. Yes, so when you figure out what your meeting schedule, where you guys want to meet, I will figure out if we can provide you with a Zoom at that time. If there's another committee meeting, that's fine. We'll find you another one. We do have access to another Zoom, but that's that.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So we are going to follow this up with an email to each of the subcommittees so you guys know who each other are. You guys can coordinate your time and place of meeting, but Will.
Yeah, so just to answer Gregor's question, so we approved 7 of these 9. The ones we did not approve are the public financing, and then it looks like we've run out of time for the progressive tax system one.
So progressive tax system, I don't think it needs to go to a committee. We'll just put that on the top of our agenda for our next week, Monday meeting. And then hopefully we can get committee 1 resos on that agenda as you guys work through them.
Great.
All right, any further?
Chair, could you point out the next meetings?
Sorry, it's going to be the next 3 Mondays. And then we are going to, next 2 Mondays. Thank you, Michael. If we get through that 3rd meeting and we have not finished our work, then we will have to find a time during that week to finish up here. So, but hopefully we can finish in the next two meetings, which is why the work of the subcommittees is so important here.
Okay.
Further, any final discussion before we leave our room here as we get timed out at 6:15?
Thank you, Chair.
Abby, one final quick comment.
Just a quick comment. Do we need subcommittee chairs?
No, you guys can just, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all for your time. Really appreciate it. We'll see you on Monday and we'll follow up with an email. Have a good night.
Great meeting. Great meeting.
Thank you
Good
all.
job.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
You guys did
Mahalo.
amazing.
Co-chairs. Thanks,
Take care,
co-chairs.
everybody.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Will, can you end it for me, please?
Yes.
Toodles.
All right, ending webinar for all.